Hello, everyone. Ex Bethelite here. Let's talk a little bit about Pioneer School. It's why. Why do you need a Pioneer School? It doesn't even make any sense. You've been going to something, and I know they changed the name, but you've been going to something called the Theocratic Ministry Training School. If you've been born in the religion, you've been going to this your whole life. Even if you weren't born in the religion, you've been going to the theocratic ministry school every week. And now you have something called a pioneer school. Isn't pioneering just basically the ministry and you stay out longer than everybody else? Why do you need a separate school for something that you don't even go to school for until after you done already done it for a year? None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense at all. So I went to Theocratic Ministry Training School, learned to do the different talks, sat through the Kingdom Ministry School, talked about service. Before service, you have a meeting and talk about the text and talk about service. If you are a Jehovah's Witness, the one thing you know how to do is knock on doors. So why do you need to go to a theocratic, or not a theocratic ministry school, a pioneer school? Pioneer is just a word that they made up to make people feel good that stay out longer than everybody else. It's a word that makes people feel good that really aren't the smartest people in the world because they have to go and do door knocking longer than everybody else. So they send them to a school and whatnot to make them feel good, to make them keep doing it. But the whole concept of pioneer school is stupid. And screen is kind of bright. You guys can barely see it, but stupid, just dumb people like this thought of this crap. The whole doctrine is so stupid, the whole concept, the whole organization that they've come up with is so stupid. And that's why half the governing body members, their hair has left the truth. Because it's so stupid. Everything they come up with is stupid. He looks like he's literally going to the bathroom on himself right now. That's the look of relief that you have when you have just used the bathroom and you've been holding it for a considerable amount of time. That or he's just so tired. You know what I mean? That he's ready for his pillow. He's ready for his nap. But listening to people like this, why do you guys listen? Why do Jehovah's Witnesses listen to people like this? You have built your entire life around what these people say. And I don't know if you watch Star Trek, but he looks like a Klingon. That's exactly what he looks like, a Klingon off a warbird in a suit. I mean, why do we listen to people that come up with things like a school that you go to after you've been going to a theocratic ministry school your entire life, and kingdom ministry school and all that? So basically, I went to the school, and essentially, I'm sure a lot of you went. Essentially, you have a couple of COs there, and they basically just take turns giving talks. One CO gets up there, and generally, where the way we had it, they sat down and talked about service. Then we had a break. People kind of walked around the Kingdom Hall, stretched their legs, what have you, came back in. The next CO went up, sat down, and talked about service. And we got this book. My book was a blue book. It was called Shining Like Illuminators or something to those lines, something like that. So you get this book and you wait a year, pioneer for a year, make it all the way through, get your time in for that entire year, go to pioneer school and get a book that ain't got nothing in it special. Nothing special. I got the book, went home after the first session, studied the book, came back, and we talked about the book. But there's nothing in the book. I didn't have to study the book. I could have answered any question he asked without even looking at the book, because it's the same garbage I've been looking at every single day. Not every single day, but every week in KM and Theocratic Ministry School. So it's just a bunch of garbage. Really, it's a bunch of garbage. And the concept of marriage, because we could literally, this is why I say Jehovah's Witnesses are stupid. Some of them are real nice, but they're not very intelligent. We can look at virtually every aspect of the organization, and it's put together in such a nonsensical manner that it just doesn't make any sense, but people follow it anyway. Marriage, you have people that get married. The marriage doesn't work out. Come on now, marriage is like, I don't know, what, 50% of them work out or something, or maybe less, something like that. A very large percent of them just don't work out for whatever reason. The concept that the only reason you can get a divorce is if somebody does a certain thing, like commits, has sex outside of the marriage. Outside of that, you can't divorce. You're stuck together, what have you. Listen, I understand that there are other churches that have that same concept because the concept is in the Bible. But what's not in the Bible is the concept that if you try to divorce that person and remarry someone else, you can't talk to your family anymore. Now, how stupid is that? There's other churches, and if they can't give you an annulment, they can't give you an annulment. And the person understands that. The person's family understands that. But real life happens. You may not get along with that person that you married. You may have been young. It could have been a lot of reasons why down the road things happen and you don't get along with them anymore. But the rest of the world everybody else understands that. And they understand that, okay, well, we can't give you an annulment. So we can't give you our blessing. But they're not going to stop you from getting married. They're not going to tell you that if you don't get along with this man that you married, you could have been super young. You could have just wanted to marry somebody to keep from getting into trouble. And then you marry somebody. He ends up being a jerk, an idiot, or she, whatever the case may be. And it don't work. It just doesn't work. There's people that I've had a relationship with. When we break up, I don't even want to talk to them. You know what I mean? So can you imagine having to stay? Elders telling you, no, you got to stay with this person. That ain't going to work. Then telling you, well, since your marriage didn't work out, you can't marry anybody else. I don't care if you love them. And if you try to marry them, we're going to disfellowship you, meaning your family can't talk. Half the reasons people get disfellowship is based off pure stupidity, is based off the stupidity of the organization. Half the reason why people get disfellowship is based off the stupidity of the organization. I understand the concept that you don't want to just go around marrying a lot of people. Most normal people don't intend on marrying a lot of people. However, if a marriage doesn't work out and, a year later, 2 years later, however long later, you decide that you want to marry someone else that you've fallen in love with, you can't not do it just because they say so. And then now you're in trouble because you married them. And let's say you didn't marry them. Let's say they told you you're not free to marry, so you just didn't marry anybody. You're going to be in trouble anyway, because eventually you're going to run across somebody that you like and things are going to happen. Now, you wanted to get married. Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't let you get married because they didn't agree with your divorce. Now you done went and slept with somebody because you're a normal human being and you're sexual by nature. And now you're in trouble for that. So you're in trouble if you try to marry somebody and they didn't agree with your divorce. And you're in trouble if you sleep with somebody and you didn't get married. So it's literally something a 12-year-old could sit down and say, that doesn't really make any sense. But you got a whole group of men in New York that can't figure this out. They can't figure it out because they're not the sharpest crayons in the box. We've got to figure that out by now. I don't want to say that they're stupid. I don't want to say that Jehovah's Witnesses are stupid. Okay, but if if the shoe fits, they everything they do virtually is just unintelligent. You have people getting in trouble because they're in a state of panic. Like the congregation, the people as a whole are in a constant state of panic because the governing body told them that the end of the world is coming. So you want to marry somebody. I'll admit, I've called a sister back in the day, of course not now, back in the day, and I liked her, so I called her, wanted to go on a date, arrange something to where we can have a chaperone and whatnot. And she's saying something along the lines of, well, she wants to wait until the end of the system. So you literally just had a conversation with somebody because you're trying to date, you're trying to do it the right way. And some of these crazy people are telling you that they're going to wait till the end of the world. Nowhere. There's nowhere that you're going to go except for around Jehovah's Witnesses, where you ask someone on a date and they tell you, I don't want to date anyone right now. I'm waiting to the end of the world, and then I'm going to date someone. Not making this up. Do you know how long and awkward the silence was on the phone when she said that? I've heard a lot of different things. Most guys have heard a lot of different things. You ask someone on a date, they tell you they got a boyfriend. You ask someone on a date, they tell you they don't feel good. You ask someone on a date, they tell you a lot of different things. They don't date tall guys. I can, keep the conversation going and just move on about my business. However, if you call someone, ask them on a date, and they tell you that they're waiting for the end of the world to occur, the second coming of Jesus Christ, and then they'll date after that, I don't know what to say. So I was on that phone, quiet as all get out. Just silent. And then I said, okay, well, I don't know a workaround for that one. So hung up the phone. It's 2018. I wonder if the person's still waiting. Dumb things like that. That's the reason why people get in trouble as Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not disfellowshipping people because the organization has got high standards. They're disfellowshipping people because the organization has got stupid regulations. Just dumb stuff that you can't follow anyway. It doesn't work in the real world anyway. You can't be a part of an organization that is super small. What do they got? Like 8 million, and you know they're lying about that. And that's worldwide. So you're in a kingdom hall, super small, may not even have a single person in that hall that you would consider dating. You think about it. You'd have to go to an assembly or a circuit, a district assembly, and you may hear crazy stuff like people are waiting for the end of the world. Then your marriage doesn't work out, and they're telling you can't get a divorce. I mean, or you can't marry nobody else. I mean, it's dumb stuff like that. And I literally had a conversation with someone who will remain nameless, and they're witnessing the stupidity firsthand. Things didn't work out with that person's mate, and elders told that person that they can't prove that the person had sex outside the marriage. So work it out, fix it, work it out, because you can't marry anybody else. So you have to stay with this person. They told this person that. Okay, keeping the person nameless. Well, person's trying to work it out. The person's sticking around this guy. The person, for whatever reason, goes to a different congregation, still dealing with this guy, and this guy's dealing with some other woman. Now, she could have been done with him, been dating someone else, rebuilding her life. But no, these elders put the woman's life on hold, waiting on this guy when the marriage was over already, but they're telling her, no, it's not over because we don't know that he slept with anybody. So now they're playing detective and find out somehow that they have proof that he slept with someone. Well, now they bring her in and tell her, the person that they just told to work it out, and has probably been trying to do so for a long period of time, and now she's really, it's not easy to just turn it on and off like that whenever they tell you to. Well, now they're telling her that they have proof that he slept with someone outside the marriage, and now you have the option of divorcing him. I mean, come on now, think. Real world, real life. So she decides that she's going to keep trying to work it out. That's what she's been doing. That's what they told her to do in the first place. She couldn't just cut it off right when they told her, right then when they felt like it. So she decides that she wants to work it out. And the guy ends up marrying some other girl. She can't control that. It didn't work. She tried to work it out, even though they said that they caught him. She tried to work it out, and then they're pursuing her. Why are you pursuing her? Because she was married to the guy. She didn't do anything wrong. They can't even figure that out. So then, because she went ahead and decided, well, I'll just stay with him and try to work it out, now they're pursuing her like she did something wrong. And for the life of me, I can't even figure out what she did wrong. I talked to her. She can't figure out what she did wrong. They just want to talk to her because they're idiots. That's how people get in trouble. That's how people's lives end up getting messed up, because you got a bunch of people that work for Walmart that are directing people's lives and what have you. Let me know what you think. Comment down below if you've been to Pioneer School. Why is there a reason for a school for something as far as like door knocking that you've been doing your whole life? And they want you to go to a school for it after you've been doing it all day for an entire year pioneering. Now they want you to go for it. Now the food was good, I'll give you that. They put on a nice spread for us. So the food was good. Other than that, it was just pure stupidity. Pure stupidity, pure boredom. A couple people went to sleep in the class, in the pioneer class. A couple of them went to sleep. I don't blame them either because I was fighting that sleep. So comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Pioneer School and also about these stupid rules about, well, you can't break up with your wife or your husband. You got to work it out. Then later, whenever the elders feel like it, they tell you, well, now you can get a divorce. And because you can't just cut your feelings off just like that, and you stay with them for a little while longer, then they want to pursue you because, well, we told you to get a divorce. Like, so what? You know, that's not how it works in the real world. So 937-789-4029. Ex Wallkill Bethelite signing out.